Hey guys, Sierra Bailey here with Accel Commercial Real Estate. The video you're watching ties into our event in June, Accelerate. If you want to learn more about what you see today, scan the QR code on your screen or click the link in the description to get your tickets now before early bird pricing runs out. Enjoy the video.
So you and I have talked about a strategy. So what happens if you go to look at the apartment or the commercial building, if it's asphalt shingles or whatever, and you see that there's hail damage? You go and missing shingles, but you're the buyer.
Even I'll simplify it. Even if it's an older roof, insurance is very ambiguous. Okay? There's a lot of gray area with insurance. And what that means is they have to prove that it didn't happen on a certain date. They had to prove that a wind event or a hail event did not happen on the date of loss. And that's their burden of proof. So we set up, if it's the right date of loss. I mean, to be honest, this area, Nashville, Thompson Station, Spring Hill. There was 2 storms in the spring that did a lot of damage. March 25th, there was a storm that went from Green Hills, East Nashville, to Porter Road area from about Hillsborough Quarters, which is south side of Hillsborough Road, from the mall up to Porter Road and on further through East Nashville. There's some really what I call boom boom hail in there, big damaging hail. Same thing, Thompson Station, Spring Hill, Nolensville on the March 27th. And why I tell you that is because that date of loss, whether it truthfully or not hit, I don't know. You may have been at work, tenant may have been at work, property manager may not have been there. They don't know. And if there's damage, that's why you pay insurance in the event that there is damage from a storm. And it's our niche in this business that makes us really good at making sure that we take the right properties and the right people and get them covered, and we go from start to finish, not only with the claims, but doing the work, making sure that the property owner's happy, the tenant's happy. We did one on a real good scenario. We did one on a unit. It was an apartment that was sold. We got the insurance to pay about $800,000 for the roofs to be redone, including reducts and things like that. The property owner paid their deductible, which was $10,000. They got new roofs for $10,000 on 21 units.
But the caveat, and this is where I think this is for you for as investors. So you're looking at the property, you're the buyer. The owner still owns the roof. The roof has hail damage. If you're being reasonable and kind in your negotiations, one of the things you can do, especially if Bo's going to help you, is through the process of inspection, you recognize that there is hail damage, and you can negotiate time for that seller to file a claim.
Willing parties, everybody being willing participants and all that, even the sellers, because you think about it, you got a buyer that's, well, I need you to fix the roof on this building, or this unit, and you're sitting there going like, all right, he's asking for $5,000 in repairs. If I've got damage and I've got a $5,000 deductible, let me just see if I say, all right, here's what I'll do is I'll make a deal with, because I've seen it all kinds of different ways. I've seen the sellers say, all right, I'm gonna file a claim. You pay my deductible, and you're gonna get all new roofs. And I've seen.
Isn't that a great tip?
I mean, and
that was worth him coming tonight, was it not?
I mean, it's a game changer on your instant equity, because what it's also doing is it's not only keeping money in your bank account that you don't have to budget for a roof for 5 years, and you can take that money and go buy another unit or parlay it into a travel trailer or whatever you want to do. But the other thing of it is the instant equity you gain, because if you put a new roof on there, you could flip that thing to somebody else because they don't have to put money into it. And you're sitting there making money on just a smart insurance deal.
I thought that was absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
Question. So this needs to happen
Before
prior to
this,
sale,
Yeah.
because once you get your new insurance policy,
Done. You don't have that data loss.
Until
They're
the next
only
comes.
obligated to pay for the time period that you have. So the data loss has to be within the ownership period of that property.
Got it. So
That
it
guy
has
owns
to be-
Now,
Yeah.
on the other side of that is if you see a property and they're being total jerks and they holds about it, they don't want to do anything about it.
Yeah.
Buy it. Just sit and hold tight on it. I'll get you to say, sit and hold tight on it,
Mhm.
get good insurance and wait for another storm to come through.
Then you get the loss and then you
Then
get the
you
new
get
roof.
Yeah.
Now, the caveat is it's gotta be the right insurance company
And it has
because,
to be, we want to be fair. I'm not doing anything that's illegal here. We want to make sure that there is damage and representable damage that is coverable and fair and just. But if you have shingles that are one or two shingles flipped up in one storm, if you've been around enough rental investments with 3-tab roofs, it's going to happen after every storm. So creates a new event, a new set of damage. So you don't have to go back. I mean, it's all in, it's the loopholes of the insurance world, and they're going to close, I'm sure, at some point.
isn't that an awesome tip?
But I mean, we've done it on, I mean, I can't tell you how many. I mean, there's been, yeah, I
You
had,
had a question?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's actually with this discussion, I just want to make sure that I'm clear. If a roof is messed up and it's still within the seller's, like the seller still has ownership of the property, you can negotiate and say, hey, please, or could you file a claim? So then I don't have to pay $5,000 out of my pocket. They can
Well,
use their
no.
insurance.
They would have to file, so
Right.
the insurable party, which is the owner and even the mortgage company has an invested interest in it, but they're just wanting to make sure the work's getting done. They want to make sure you're not pocketing insurance money and keeping it. They want to make sure it's getting.
But the
That's
But
insane.
where you're getting at is, can you as the buyer not have to pay anything? That is negotiable.
Right.
It's all
The
how
seller may say, no, I'm not going to, why would I give you I'm giving you a gift of $5,000 and I've already priced that into the price of my, I know my roof is bad.
Right.
That's why you're getting the deal that you're
Yeah.
getting.
And it's all in the market you're in, right? Because right now there's a lot of these people are saying, you know what?
Too bad, so
Too
sad.
bad, pound sand, kid. I got somebody else coming behind me that's going behind you, gonna pay for
No,
it.
I understand.
And that's exactly what they'll do. But most people, if you present it like, okay, I'm asking him or asking them to make $5,000 worth of repairs, the seller may say, all right, he's only asking me to pay $5,000 and I've got $10,000 worth of repairs. He'll gladly pay the deductible so that he doesn't have to pay $10,000 to make you happy. Now, if
And
they're
that's-
savvy, they may stick it to you.
But
That's all.
that's
how you
actually
negotiate.
something that Brian has been pretty successful at, being able to negotiate with the buyers and the sellers where it's a win-win, so that the buyer and the seller both feel like they're doing well.
I will tell you one other thing with these large properties, multi-family, multi-buildings, like a duplex, triplex, quadplex, that kind of stuff, it'll get settled pretty quickly. If you're starting to talk about like a couple hundred doors, 6, 7 buildings, a claim that's getting a couple $100,000, they're gonna start posturing. And then that's when I bring in the heavy hitters. I have an attorney that just does nothing but insurance work. He's got 7 attorneys that work for him, and we settle a lot of them.
And sadly, that is what we're going to have to do. So,
And there's some of them even in this area. I mean, I'm working on 4 right now up around the 8th Avenue area where we're having to get in and settle some stuff. But then there's some of these, I just got one of them I just got settled. It took 10 months to get it settled after the March.
who else had a question? Carly?
It was in relation to what we were talking about before with the seller paying for the roof. I had that exact situation on my most recent purchase where during my inspection, the inspector found damage, noted it, took pictures of it. I had the sellers sign an amendment saying, or maybe an addendum saying they agreed to replace the roof, them thinking their insurance was going to pay for it. Their insurance guy came out, denied the claim, and the listing agent was like, well, they denied the claim. Oh, well, so sad. I was like, right, but your seller signed an amendment saying they were going to replace the roof. She's like, you're right, they did. So we renegotiated and they gave me a credit at closing so I could replace the roof and didn't have to pay for
I
it.
mean, that's great negotiating because a lot of it does come down to the negotiating table. That's where you have good realtors to do all that. But when it comes down to looking at it and identifying damage, that's where not all roofers are created equal. And I've seen a lot where where previous roofers have missed damage, but I've also had a lot where roofers have called it damage and it's not storm damage. It's heat blistering, things that are maintenance related. And I can't get that covered because it's not covered. And I just have to tell you, hey, you need to start planning for a roof.
The other thing that I really like about Mo, and he probably doesn't appreciate this as much as I do, is he has come out and done inspections for us, and he'll say, you know what, this is not something that's that big of a deal, you know, or he's losing out on the potential of having a roof.
And I don't charge to come out and look at those.
Right, well, I was leading to that, so he's taking his time to come out and look at that. And he's not gonna make money, and I'm telling you right now that the majority of the roofers that are out there are gonna find something and they're gonna get you, you know, it's like, do you want fries with that kind of a deal? But that's not Bo, and
Remember
that's,
that Mexican dance hall when I went and looked at in Gallatin for
Mhm.
you? That was one of the very first ones. It was
wasn't that a
Mess.
weird,
mess, dude.
that's actually
but I
one of
just-
the weirdest messed up roof stuff, that, when I was
Yeah.
describing
But that was one
the
of the things where
A-frame with the membrane, and then they had a section that had gravel, I think they had like 5 different
yeah, it's tough. It
roof
was-
types,
it was
I'm
amazing.
not exaggerating, and
But some of that stuff, I'm sometimes the bearer of bad news. People where they get their hopes up on a property because they think it's gonna really, you know, jam for them. It turns out it's really gonna jam if they do it. So I've had to do that.
I had a tree fall on a duplex that I was renting out. And the insurance company wouldn't pay for it because they said it was an act of God.
Well, so
Where does that,
So that truthfully, they should have paid for the tree falling, and that all kind of goes back to the carrier and who it is and how they, how it's handled, to be honest. A tree falling on a house is an act of God. Hail is an act of God, wind is an act of God, and that's covered under your policy. It's the sudden and immediate loss that's created by an event like wind damage, hail damage, the wind knocked the tree over on there. They're going to cover it. They may not pay for the whole roof, but your insurance is supposed to cover that part of the tree. Some amount for removal. There's policy limits that you need to discuss with your agents on what some of those things are, but there should be. That's what insurance is covered for. They'll never pay you for rotten plywood, because if a corner around a dormer is rotten or something like that, they see that as a long-term. That's why you need to have somebody probably looking at them. One of the things that we're starting this year is a big program for flat roofs. It's called Quality Cares. It is our official maintenance program. And that maintenance program is designed for us to go out and take a look once a year, flat roofs, shingle roofs, any type of roof system, and make sure that the plumbing boots are okay. We'll replace the collars when we first go out there. If the plumbing boot needs to be replaced, we'll replace it. But we do all this inspection, so if we do see something you need to turn in, we make sure that you can turn it in. Yeah,
well, they
particular
didn't
deal.
pay for it.
And
I had to do it. And what it was, it fell on the corner. So, I mean,
took
it
out
actually,
the fascia and the soffit and all that. And
it was a whole hole in the roof.
Yeah.
So
No,
I
they
had to,
won't, so it depends on how many slopes and where it's at, and all those particulars with each individual claim that kind of dictates. But in terms of a mass big loss for things like that, hail is pretty widespread and it's going to get the whole roof. My experience is your trees are going to be really localized, and while they'll pay for a puncture and pay for the tree removal, you might not get a whole roof because it can be
Right.
defined within a slope. And some of those are great at just going ahead and paying for the whole roof. That's where you've really got to do your due diligence and get with an agent that you trust that's going to put you with a carrier that's specific for your type of situation. State Farm, Farm Bureau, all of them have rental policies, but they're not all tailored the same. So what you need to do is just figure out which one meets that property's need and get you a good independent, I say independent agent because I came from a captive side. There's two different types of insurance agents. There's your captive agents, which are your state farms, your nationwides, your Allstates, your farm bureaus that work for those carriers. Their fiduciary responsibility is to that carrier. An independent broker who is going to carry like Travelers and Westfield and Selective and all these others, their fiduciary responsibility is to you, to the insured. And
Big difference.
they will, at that point, help you find the policy that has the best mix of coverage and premium to meet what you want. And that's really where it starts.
And that's actually your second big tip of the night.
Thanks for watching this video. If you like what you see, be sure to follow our Generational Wealth Learning series. On select Thursdays, we offer cutting-edge industry information that would normally cost thousands of dollars. And the best part, our education is absolutely free. If you register through our events page, you can join us live, either in person or over Zoom. In the meantime, like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss a beat.